Are you able to see my screen, Jyoti? Okay. So yesterday, what we have learned? Mm, so yesterday we learned system testing. Under that, GI testing, usability testing, functional testing, and non-functional testing. Now, today our topic is functional testing. Under functional testing, what properties come? Like we will see about these topics, properties. So we will discuss with these topics in this session. So next, non-functional testing that will also we'll see. Now we'll see what is functional testing right now. So see, this is the main part that we have to focus mainly. So as part of this, we mainly focus on functional testing. So first of all, what is functionality? Functionality means the behavior of the application. If you take any product or software, how the product is behaving and how it is working, and how it is working or not as per the requirement. That is functionality. So yesterday also I'll give one example. For example, Gmail. In Gmail, we have login, composing, sent box, deleted items. That all functionalities. So if you take any application, there will be some functionality. We are going to test that, not focusing on UI elements or objects. Okay, for it's focus only on functional elements. So for example, text box. Text box in the GUI testing, it is aligned or not, the size of the text box, length of the text box, width of the text box, that we do in GUI testing. So if you come to functionality, we are going to test more on that, which is accepting the characters properly or not. And for example, if you take any username, if it is a text box, the requirement is 8 characters, uppercase, 8 characters, only 8 characters allowed. But it should in uppercase, lowercase, one number, one special character. So this requirement accordingly, we prepare some test data, right? We are verifying that test data is allowing or not. So that's why I mean mention here. So first of all, the definition is functional testing. It is nothing but behavior of application. So it talks about only how your future should work. It is see functional something. It should work according to the requirement as part of the functional testing. Like what kind of testing we have to conduct, where exactly we have to focus. So these all properties. So these property, there are six properties. Six properties come under functional testing. So we will discuss one by one. So first of all, first point, first property, what is that? Object properties testing. So first of all, I want to know what is object. So object means something, an element. You can take button, text box, check box, drop down, logo, etc. So object means element. So what we have to verify here, if you take object properties testing, what we have to verify here? So every element on a web page is having certain number of properties. What is that? For example, I can say, so let us take a small text box. Okay. I have, what are the properties of this text box? So the text box can be enabled and can be disabled. So if the text box is enabled, what we will do? We will provide the text. If the text box is disabled, then I cannot enter the text. Okay. Enable or disable means attributes or properties. Similarly, okay, similarly, there are radio buttons, one female button and one male button. At a time, we can select only one radio button. either male or female. This is radio button group. We can select only one at a time. This is called properties. Enable or not, disable or not. That also properties. So if I select male button, female will be disable. If I select female button, male will be disable. So similarly, drop down menu. There are multiple items will be there. If I click on this, it will show different options will be displayed, right? But at a time, we can select only one option in this. So there are list of countries, right? If you take a drop down, countries drop down. Okay, this is countries means one of example. So sometimes we have list boxes. In that case, we can select multiple. Here, we have multiple element displayed and we can select more than one element and display all the elements. So these are all different properties. So another example we can take like one login screen, one username and password is there. So when I enter the username, immediately the cursor goes to the next text box. What is the next text box? That is password. So this is called focus attribute or focus property. Okay. Did you face this issue? Not issue. Did you face this situation? So if you enter the username, immediately automatically the cursor goes to the next text box.
Yes.
Yeah, that is called focus attribute or focus property. So these kind of things we have to verify. Every property, whatever you can see on the page is having certain number of property. Those properties we have to verify as part of object properties testing. So the definition of object property testing is, so check the properties of objects present on the application. For example, enable, disable, visible, focus, etc. Now you understand, right? What is object properties testing? If you want, I will repeat again. Jyoti, if you don't understand, you can tell me. I'll repeat. Okay, no need. Okay. So the next topic is database testing or backend testing. So this is another major area that we have to test. Here we need to know SQL knowledge, need to know some basic SQL commands, which are very, very important. So database testing is a huge kind of testing. It's not a simple testing. Here, as a functional tester, we can do some basic data testing like functionality level, but internally we have to do a lot of testings under database testing. So we have a separate and skilled testers we require to perform this database testing. So what exactly we do? Okay, we have a separate and skilled testers we required. But what exactly we do? So database is a storage area where exactly the data will be stored. That comes under backend part. We can say this is a backend testing. So as a tester, we mainly focus on DML language, DML operations. So what is the meaning of DML? Data manipulation language. So this DML operations is working fine or not. So that will be checked. So DML means data manipulation language. When I say database, let me tell you what exact it is. So every software have two different layers. What is that? Front end and back end, right? So back end is nothing but database, where exactly the data will be stored. And we are browsing the data from the UI. Now, in database testing, we are mainly focused on backend. So let us say, for example, UI application, user interface application. So user is always interact here and at the backend, we are something called database, right? This will be located in somewhere report locations. Actually, the data stored in the database. Now, whatever we are browsing in the UI, it will send to database and will getting the data from the database. But as a user, I cannot I cannot use the database, right? In database testing, we are mainly focused on particular database component. So for example, what I'm saying here, there is a UI. Year one database, right? So what I'm doing, now you will understand what I'm saying. So user always interact UI part only, but at the back end, what we can see database. This will be located in somewhere. So actually the data stored in database. Okay. So now whatever we are browsing in the UI application, it will send to database and will get the data from the database. But as a user, I cannot see the database. But in database testing, you are mainly focused on database only. So in database testing, so we will see database components. Now in database testing, there are two things. One is black box and white box is also there. We can say functional and non-functional testing. For example, as a functional tester, what you will do is here in the UI side, you will set up certain operations like inserting the data, submitting the data, updating, deleting, or selecting the data. Those are basic DML operations. When I do these DML operations from the UI, those operations are properly working at the database level or not. That we are going to verify as part of database testing. So at the beginning level, so actual the data will be stored in the form of tables. We know, right? Database, how we will see the data in the form of tables. We have different tables like I'm browsing the application. I'm browsing the, for example, not application, I'm browsing the employee table in database. So I want to add one new employee in my database through AI. Okay, UI application. So my requirement is I have employee table. I want to add one new employee details in my database through UI application. So where exactly the employee data will be stored in the employee table? There will be a table and inside the data or inside the table, the data will be stored, right? Suppose I want to get the details of employee on the UI application and I will send the employee ID to the database through UI and I will get back the data from this table and I want to update the details of the employee. So I can get the data from the table and update the data and resend it. So next I want to delete the record from the table. So I can simply perform the delete action. That record will be deleted from the table. So these operations we are going to perform from the UI. And whenever you do some action or operations and the database tables will be affected. So for example, when I submit the data will be inserted in the table, right? When I update the data will be updated or modified, correct? When I delete the data will be deleted from the table. If you want to retrieve the data is coming from the table and present on the UI application. So these are the basic operations that working or not that we are going to test as part of database testing. So they are called DML operations and it is in SQL. Okay. Insert, update, delete, select command. These are in SQL and these insert, update, delete, select that comes under DML operations. So we are going to use these commands to perform this testing. Whatever operations we are doing from the UI that are affecting the table on the database, that we are going to check that we are affecting the tables or not on the database. The communication between the UI and the database is working fine or not, that we are going to test as part of UI testing. As a beginner, mainly focus on DML operations. In the database testing, you are sending the data, updating the data, deleting from the UI. This is one testing. Another side, we are logging into the database and we are executing certain number of queries, that is SQL queries, to retrieve or see the data from the table. So what exactly we are doing is, from the UI, we are doing black box testing because we don't know the coding. We are just sending the data. And in the backend side, login. Login into the database. We are writing some queries here to check this data. That comes under white box part or testing area. The database testing include both black box and white box. If combine these two, we call gray box testing technique. Okay. So you can ask what is black box and white box. Okay. So interviewer questions also, this is very important. What is black box testing and white box testing? So interview question, can you give me some example of gray box? Do you have something called gray box testing? So one is interview question. The answer is, you can say yes. We have something called gray box testing. Database testing is the example of gray box testing. Okay. You should say like this. If any interviewer asks you, I'm repeating again, this is one important interview question, that is tricky question. Can you give me some example of gray box? Do you have something called gray box testing? So you can say, yes, we have something called gray box testing, that is database testing is the example of gray box testing. So initial level, we have to do this much. Yep, apart from this, there will be a lot of things that we test, but there should be dedicated skill testers to perform in detailed database testing. As a tester, you have to know the SQL, that is mandatory should have. So in interviewers, they will also ask some SQL queries. It depends on your resume. If you mention in resume SQL queries, they will also ask in SQL queries. If it's not there, okay, it's okay, no problem. So apart from this, what else that we test on database? In database, we are validating the table level, like how many columns that we have in a table, what kind of data that we can insert in a table, size of the column, number of rows are available, number of fields are available, and there are multiple tables sometimes we have, right? Whatever submit the data in the UI, that will be stored in the multiple tables. Okay. So again, I'm taking one example. This is employee table, and this is department table. Okay. So see, I'm taking one example of employee and department table. So connection will be there, right? So here what I'm saying, connection will be there or relation will be there. That relationship we have to verify. Your voice is not audible. Is that clear, Jyoti? My voice is audible? Audible. So if you know the SQL, we will get employee table and department table. So here there is a connection, there is a relation there. So that relationship we have to verify. And also we are verified like functions, procedures, triggers, etc. So if you want to verify these things, you need to know in depth of SQL and PLSQL. PLSQL means PL means procedure language. So if you these two things, you can perform in depth database testing. So apart from this, internally in the table or database, we have to test a lot of things. Sometimes there is a views, index, cursor, etc. So these are database related concepts. So the definition is table and column level validations, table and column level validations. What are they? Column type, column length, number of columns, right? So here, column type means what? Number or character, okay? And ID or name. So in ID or name, we can enter number or character, right? And the column length means what? 15 to 20 characters allowed, for example. Okay. And number of columns, you know that. So after that, relation between the tables, normalization. So verify functions, procedures, triggers, indexes, views, etc. These things we have to focus when we do in detail database testing, that comes under white box testing part. Okay, the definition is checking database operations, okay, with respective UI means user operations. Okay, this is the in detail explanation of database testing or backend testing. So next point is error handling testing. What is that? So it mainly focus on error messages. So for example, if you're working on UI part, when doing invalid action, the application should display some message, right, to the user, right? For example, if you take any Gmail application, there is a login. This one is most important while testing. So main focus is verifying the error messages on the UI. For example, definition is tester verify the error messages while performing incorrect actions on the application, right? So the error message should be readable or understandable. It should be the simple language. That also we have to check. For example, login screen, there is a username and password. So if you enter um, invalid username and valid password, so what you will see? You will get error message, right? The UI application will display error message that incorrect data. So if you see one example, I will show you. I'm not example. Uh, so one error message we get. Okay. Now you entered one valid username and invalid password, and you will get a error message. Incorrect data. Which one is good and clarity? First one or second one? If you get a message, error message, which one is easy to clarify that? Incorrect
Incorrect
data or
data.
user? Sorry, you are not audible, Jyoti.
Incorrect data.
Why don't you take this invalid user?
Like actually, like in my point of view, like everybody like using the application, right? So if some people are like maybe if they do, I mean, like correct incorrect words are regularly everyone is using, right? So some people
Yeah.
maybe it is easy to understand.
Mm. So here what I'm saying, there is a application username. Okay. Username something. You entered correct username and password, wrong password. Okay. And you will get a message, error message.
Yes.
And correct data and invalid username. Sorry. Which one is more clarity?
Invalid password.
Yeah, invalid password. Because you entered a wrong password. That's why invalid password is correct. And incorrect data means you have to check both, right? What I
Both.
have
Yes.
entered. Username is correct or password is correct. And okay, you think, okay, user, I entered both the username and password I entered with correct. Why it's showing? It's not clarity, right? That's
Yes.
that's the meaning of error handling testing. So if you get a message, it should be a clarity. It should be very clear and
Clear.
understandable and readable. That is the main intention of error handling testing. Okay. Now you understand, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So next, calculations or manipulation testing. So sometimes you have certain number of calculations, especially financial application and banking application. There will be some calculations, right? So, so those calculations are properly working or not that we are going to verify. For example, you can take a banking application. You have some mm, total balance. Okay. Total balance is 50,000, for example. 50,000. After sending to other, how much? 20,000. Okay. So it should display proper balance, right? So if you do a subtraction, what is the result?
30,000.
Yeah. Available balance is 30,000, right? So it is simple calculation actually. So these type of calculations are working or not that we are going to verify. When test the calculations, we should check valid and invalid data also. So while testing this this calculation testing, we have to focus mainly on data. For example, again, I'm taking one more example. So actually, num1 is 2 and num2 is 5. Okay. So if you add this, what is the result?
7.
7. Right. So 2 and 5 are positive numbers. When I give a negative number, for example, okay, minus 2 and it is 5. Then,
3.
so minus 2 and 5. 3, right?
Yes.
So 3. 3 is the result actually. See, when I give 0, what it happen? When I give both minus value, what it gives? Small numbers, big numbers. How this application is working irrespective of calculation that we are going to verify. So that
Oh,
mainly calculations comes under this testing. Sorry. Calculations or manipulation testing. These are very simple calculations actually. But in banking, if you take a banking application or financial application, there are very, very big calculations. So mainly that calculations are working on it that we are going to verify by using calculation or manipulation testing. Okay. So I'm just explaining the purpose of this testings. What is the main purpose? Why we are doing and where exactly we do. So the next topic is links existence or links execution. See, um, link existence and cookies and sessions related to web application. If you are working with mobile application or desktop applications, these two are not applicable. Okay. So link existence means in web application, you can see some links where the links are exactly placed. So few things we have to focus here. First, link exactly placed means link existence. Okay. Link existence means we should link place in exact place. So perform the action when I click the link. That is called link execution. What is I'm repeating again, what is link existence and link execution? What is the difference between link existence and execution means? Link existence means where the link is exactly placed. Link execution means it will perform the action when I click on the link that we have to verify. So there are three types of links. One is internal link, external link, and broken link. So internal link means when I click on link, okay, which will navigate to the same page in different section. External link, please. When I click on the link, okay, which will give another page or navigate to some other page. Broken link means the link will be there, but doesn't have any action. It's not navigating to another page. It just, if you click on that broken link, that's called broken link. If you click on the link, it will not work. Did you face this situation? When I Google it, I face this issue actually. When I click on the link, it will not work. It will not navigating to another page. So that's called broken link. So sometimes developer plays broken links also because for future purpose. So if we why they why they place broken links in future purpose. So if we wanted to implement some other pages, they have to keep in the current web page. These links have to be verified. So for example, if you take any application like Amazon link is not working some due to some issue. So there is a broken link. If I have a broken link, okay, then I will use that, right? So sometimes what developer will do, developers intentionally, wantedly, they put they place a broken links um, in that. I mean, if you Google it, any application, so broken links also there. So 100% it's there. So because for future purpose, if they wanted to implement some other pages, they have to keep. So next, cookies and sessions. When you are working some application through an internet, so you are browsing web page, for example, any tech web application, Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal.com. So you are getting the details from web page, right? Where we are getting the data? From backend, right? From backend. So if I have UI page, okay, UI page means you are browsing something Amazon.com, okay, through Chrome or Microsoft Edge or Firefox. Okay, you can use anything and you can browse any UI page. And there is a backend, right? There is a data. And backend, where it is in server side. When I do this, our browser is intelligent enough to save the data. For example, you are having some application and log into the application. You are providing username and password. It is done. Some action and successfully log in. After doing some actions without checking on logout, just close that page. Then what happened? You're getting my point, right? You are having some application and you log in. You providing username and password and it successfully log in. After doing some actions without clicking on logout, just close that page. Then what happened? The browser will remember the data. But how? If you open again that page, the browser will remember the data. It will show that page. If you do not log out. But how it's possible? Because the browser save in the cookies. Browser save means in the form of information. So cookies means temporary files which are created by the browser while you browsing the data through internet. If you take a Gmail application, browser is saving the cookies or not, that we have to verify. Okay. So session means basically cookies related to the browser from the client side will be created. So whenever browsing the data, it's saved in cookies. But sessions will be created in the server side. As earlier I said, Gmail application, I successfully log in Gmail. After this, if you don't do any activity, just leave it as it is for 1 or 2 minutes. After 1 or 2 minutes, again do some actions in Gmail. Then it will ask again username and password. So this scenario you will see in banking applications, especially in banking applications. So here
Mhm.
the time slot will be created at the server side. Especially applications, as soon as working on the application, this will be open. But once you stop working on the application, then it will count how many seconds it is inactive or not active. So it will wait for few seconds, then immediately it will close the sessions. So if you want to do any action, again, it will ask username and password. It will show the session is expired. So it is created for security mechanism. Session is nothing but time slot, which will be created for your activity, which is doing from the front end application. So that things we have to verify, especially only for web application. It is not applicable for another application. Okay.
Yes.
Clear, Jyoti?
Yes, Begum.
Yeah. So our next topic is non-functional testing. So non-functional testing means, so after functional testing is done, non-functional testing will start. Because once the functionality is stable, non-functional testing will be conducted. What is the definition of non-functional testing means? See here, once the application functionality is stable, then we do non-functional testing. It mainly focus on performance, load, it can take security, right? So what I'm saying here, the main focus on the customer expectations. It is not focus on customer requirement. So what is the difference between customer requirement and customer expectations? Do you have any idea? What is customer requirement and customer expectations?
Like requirement is like they will say like how they want the
Hmm.
application to be,
Yeah,
and expectation is like the outcome of the application.
up, requirement.
Yes.
Yeah. So for example, if you take one banking application is your requirement. Let's see how requirement and expectation will work. So I'm taking one banking application. It contains some functionalities, right? So login, transfer fund, check balance. There are all functionalities that comes under requirement. So okay, requirement is okay. When I try to use that application performs is very low. Okay, I'm not getting the pages quickly or my application not much secured. That is the expectation. But another people and moreover requirement is another people can't access the data. Okay. So it should not happen like this, right? That is called expectations. When I try to use that application, 1 minute, I'm getting a call, Jyoti. 1 minute.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, hi. Sorry for inconvenience. So what I'm saying, what is the difference between customer requirement and expectations, right? So I have one banking application. Okay. There is a requirement. I will tell you what is the difference between requirement and expectation. So it contains banking application. In banking application, it contains some functionalities like login, transfer fund, check balance. So login also one functionality, transfer fund also one functionality, check balance also one functionality. So there are requirements. While performing functional testing, we are mainly focused on these requirements, whether it's working properly or not. That is called requirement. So, okay, when I try to use that application, performance will be high. If I'm not getting the pages quickly, that should be getting the pages quickly. Or my application should be secured. So another people can't access the data. It should happen like this. That is called my expectations. So my application should work on different environment. That is my expectation. And my application should respond very faster. My application should be safe from the users, hackers. That is my expectation. So expectations means how I'm expecting the application as a user, how my application should be work, safe from hackers, quickly respond, and my application installed in multiple environments. So requirement is it is nothing but some features to be there in the application. So functional testing mainly focused on requirement of the customer, non-functional testing mainly focus on expectations from the customer. Did you understand?
Yes.
So the main focus is on performance testing, security testing, okay, how much load it is accept. So suppose there is a web application, okay, if 10 people browsing the application at the same time, okay, perfectly working. Suddenly load is increased. 100 people accessing the application at the same time. The application will goes down, right? It's completely broken. That is not customer expectations, right? Even though number of people increasing, the application should be stable and every people should access the application with the same speed. That is our customer expectations. So non-functional testing focus on performance, load, security, recovery, all these accepts. So after functional testing, we conduct non-functional testing. Let's see what is performance testing. So as I said, non-functional testing, not much that easy. It required a special people to conduct this testing, to conduct performance testing. They are having own environment. They should be maintain high volume servers, high capacity machines, and high load like 5 machine, 10 machines like that. If in security testing, there will be some dedicated people. They are having some special skill set. If they are trying to hack the application and they are trying to test the application using security testing tool, that is different kind of skill set is needed. So non-functional testing is not as easy. We think they require some special people, special environment, special skills, and advanced skills to perform non-functional testing. So first my question is what is performance? What is the meaning of performance? So performance is nothing but the speed of the application. How well my application is responding when I access the application with multiple number of people. There are mainly three testing conducts. One is load testing, stress testing, and last one, third one is volume testing. So let us try to understand with example. So load testing. My application is installed on my server machine, for example. Okay, I will show one example here. Mm, Here I have browser, server. So here I'm taking one example. See my application installed on somewhere server machine. So most of the web applications like performance testing will be done in web applications only. Remember, performance testing only will be done in web applications. So in desktop applications is there. If there is no need this testing to conduct because it is a local machine. Speed always will be there. So no need this testing. So if I have a server machine means where the application is installed. Now now I'm accessing the application through my browser by users. Here user accessing the application, he will send the request to the server and he will get the response from the server. In the load testing, what he will do is slowly increasing the number of users like one user, two user, three, four, five, till a certain number of users. So we will increasing the load slowly, like in incremental level. Then we will verify the response time, how much speed it is. So how well the application is responded. If we have one user, how much of the speed it is and respond time. So if we have two, three, four, five, up to 10 people, I mean, accessing the same application at the same time, then what is the speed of the application? That we are going to verify that comes under load testing. Okay. So the load testing is the definition. What is the definition of load testing? So it is, I mean, here, see, yeah. It is a type of performance testing that determines the performance of a system, software product, or software application under real life based load conditions. Load testing determines the behavior of the application when multiple users use it at the same time. So it is what is the meaning of load testing means? So increasing the load on the application slowly, then check the speed of the application. Here some performance requirement. You need to know the requirement like initially customer will tell you like I have this number of people. Okay. Accessing my application in the same time. You also have to conduct load testing with this number of people. That is my requirement. So customer says 100 people. So we will test the application with 100 people, 100 different requests. We cannot replicate in the real environment, right? Again, we will use certain number of tools like load testing, performance testing tools. So those tools creates virtual users. Actually, we are not replicating the physically users. Suppose customer said 100 people trying to access my application in my organization. But 100 people, how you can take a test and how you're replicating the environment in companies? We cannot keep 100 people, right? We cannot keep 100 machines, right? We have certain tools. By using that, we can create virtual users. We can hit the request to the server. That comes under load testing. So load testing tools, there are number of tools. I know that load, runner, JMeter, that are load testing tools. So without setting number of machines, without setting number of peoples, still we can use performance testing by using those tools. So while testing, is there any chance to break the application that we have to check? We our last, I mean, our ultimate, what is our ultimate goal? To break down the application, right? Sometimes what happened for one user, two user, three, four, up to 110 users working, it's working fine. The application will working fine. After reaching 20, 30, 50 users, it will slowly down the application. After that, once you reach 100, application server will be down. We will not be able to access the application. Where exactly it is breaking down, that we have to check. So if it's breakdown, ask developer to improve the application. Okay. Now you will understand the definition of load testing. Load testing determines the behavior of the application when multiple users use it at the same time. Now you understand, right? Load testing. Are you there, Jyoti?
Yes, Begum.
Yeah. So our next topic is stress testing. So people will feel both are same. So see, but they are not exactly same. A small difference is there. So load means gradually increasing the load on the application. Stress means suddenly increasing the load on the application and suddenly decreasing the load on the application. And check the speed of the application. So somewhere it is broken or not, that we have to verify. See, load means one by one. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is one by one. Stress means suddenly increasing and suddenly decreasing. Suddenly increasing means I suddenly increase 5 and suddenly increase 50 numbers and suddenly decrease to 10 numbers. So check the speed and checking it is broken or not. And suddenly reduce 20 members, suddenly increase 100 members. This is a common scenario. Every time it will happen in internet, right? If you take any Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, e-commerce application, so offer times increasing people, suddenly servers, it suddenly increase, I mean, increasing people, suddenly servers will goes down. This is called stress testing. Okay. So when users increase, how our application is responding. If one user, two servers, one server, two servers is not enough, then increase multiple number of servers and in every server will be placed in the application. I mean, if one server is down because of higher load, okay, then another server will take the request and process. This is alternative setup in the company. So I'm repeating once again the definition of stress testing. So it is an important part of performance testing and used to check the behavior of an application by applying a load greater than the desired load. Okay. So see, now you understand, right? What is the meaning of this definition? It suddenly increase and suddenly decrease. But in load testing, one by one, we will go to increase that number. So next, volume testing. Volume testing means it is nothing but a size, how much the data or application will handle. For example, web application, and this is my database. Okay. So here in this application, normally we will send the data, right? Lot of people accessing the application and those people sending the data. How much data will you able to handle? Because there should be some limit, right? Here he's sending 10 records. Okay. Second thing, 100 records and third time 150 records. All those records will able to fit in the database or not. If it is not, it will throw error message or sometimes it will goes down. If the data is very huge, in that case, we will verify the volume testing and you will understand the definition. See, volume testing means it helps to test the software application with a certain amount of data. The amount used in volume testing could be a database size or it could also be the size of an interface file that is the subject of volume testing. Okay, this is the definition of volume testing. And next point is security testing. Security testing is nothing but how well the application providing security. Because when I try to access the application through online, there must be some security, right? For example, banking application, financial application, there are more sensitive data will be there. Security must be there. Basically, we are verifying how secure our application. So few things we have to verify in security testing. Use testing like database and performance, need separate skill set, dedicated team to perform security testing, different security testing tools and hacking tools are available. This is done by the specialist, not by normal testers. So in these testing, we mainly focus authentication and authorization. So let us understand this authentication. Authentication means the valid user able to access application or not, that we are going to verify. If the people are verified, allow the authentication. If the people are not valid, does not allow, undo the action. Authorization means it means if the user is valid, then he can do certain things on the application, but not everything. He will not do access on everything. Only sometime he can access. So if you take any application, okay. I will show one more example. I'm taking a big this is retail. Sorry. And this is account investment admin. So I'm taking one banking application, okay, as a user, and all this application in one department, that is banking application. As a user, I can able to log into the application, that is authentication. So one is done, this particular user belongs to particular department. Suppose he belongs to account department, he should able to access only account department, that is authorization. Similarly, admin department, he can able to access everything because he is the admin. If he logins to investment, he can access only investment features only. That is called access control or authorization. So what we are going to verify? We verify permissions of the valid user. What are the features they can able to access, that we are going to verify. And these comes under authorization. So authentication and authorization, that comes under security testing. Okay. And next point is recovery testing. It means if I lose something, that should get back, right? Suppose I'm typing some data and it's suddenly deleted, and I should get back. That is called recovery. In your machine, if you deleted some file, it goes recycle bin. Again, you can get back, right? What you will do in recovery testing, whether the application is recovery the data or not, that we are going to check. If you if you take a Gmail application, if you composing some mail, if you type something and it's off completed, okay, and then your system gets shut down, or your browser suddenly close, or internet connection get close, so then what happens? It will not send or go anywhere, right? Once you log in into the Gmail application, that mail will be saved in the draft box. That is called recovery mechanism. So compatibility testing. So it means your application should compat with a different environment. And again, here three compats will be there. Okay. Um, I think here not mentioned. So again, here three compats. I mean, one is forward, backward, and hardware. Okay. So here I will show what is compatibility. I need to I need to take one example actually. What is the time? 27. Shall I continue, or you want to continue in tomorrow class?
In tomorrow class, become actually I was having a meeting right now at 8:30.
Okay, okay. Yeah, sure. Tomorrow we'll continue from compatible testing, because I write to again I need to draw some um, this compatibility testing related example. So it will take time. Okay.
Okay.
So from here we will discuss in tomorrow session from compatibility testing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you so much. I hope you understand my concepts,
Yes.
what I'm saying. Yeah. Thank you. Good night. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.